कृष्ण को मेहनत नहीं सारे कृष्ण को तो मैं बोल रहा था कि आपसे मोबाइल में तो आप लोग को कौन सा वाला पैक करना अक्टूबर से जो रिलीज है दिसंबर कौन सा पैक करना है अक्टूबर कर दिया ना हाँ 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 अच्छा तो 6318 माइनस जो बचा हुआ डिफरेंस कैसे आपको देना ना हाँ हाँ ठीक है समझ हाँ समझ थैंक यू
जितात्मना प्रशान्तस्य परमात्मा समाहिता शीतोष्णा सुख दुःखेषु तथा मानापमानयोः. For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached. For he has attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same. Actually, every living entity is intended to abide by the dictation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated in everyone's heart as Paramatma. When the mind is misled by the external illusory energy, one becomes entangled in material activities. Therefore, as soon as one's mind is controlled through one of the yoga systems, one should be considered to have already reached the destination. One has to abide by the superior dictation. When one's mind is fixed on the superior nature, he has no alternative but to follow the dictation of the superior. The mind must admit some superior dictation and follow it. The effect of controlling the mind is that one automatically follows the dictation of the Paramatma or the Super Soul. Because this transcendental position is at once achieved by one who is in Krishna consciousness, the devotee of the Lord is unaffected by the dualities of material existence, namely distress and happiness, cold and heat, etc. This state is practical samadhi or absorption in the Supreme. It is the nature of affinity. When one has an affinity for some person, he naturally follows that person. So affinity and following are interrelated with each other. So the point is that when one becomes dear to someone, he starts taking the person whom he is dear to very seriously. That means he starts taking his words also very seriously. We see just like an attached husband will consider his wife's words very seriously. The same principle. Affinity or attachment is related to following. That means when we try to follow, it leads to an increase of affinity. Like that. So, in that sense, we can take affinity and following as equivalent terms. They are not we cannot say synonymous, but they are equivalent in their action. Affinity and following, they are equivalent in their action. But the effect is the same actually. So therefore, this principle of affinity, actually if you will see, we can see that the principle of affinity goes beyond the mental dictates also. Just like the mental dictates go beyond and overpower physical activities. In the same way, just like the mental dictates overpower physical activity, in the same way actually affinity goes beyond. Affinity goes beyond the mental dictates also. This is the way to overpower the mind. The Lord is explaining. It is the force of affinity which can drive people opposite to their natures as well, beyond their natures as well. Right? Just like, for example, an angry man is an angry fellow, so he becomes angry very often. A slight provocation and becomes angry. Just like an angry man for his own wife and children, he will not behave in the same way. His anger is quite toned down. So there is a lot of extent of tolerance and accommodative aspect which comes in his dealing. But any other outside person, his employees or people under him, feels anger. But his own people, anger is filtered. A lot of affection which comes in between us. So we see the drive of affection. So some people, to their own people, they never become angry. But outside person, they are like, shoot at sight. So they make a circle. Within that circle, everything, all love, all care. And outside the circle, shoot at sight. This is true of many devotees also. You take shelter of them, they will give you all protection, master. Everything will be given. But you are not in their surrendered circle, like that, you'll be shot at sight. So the point is that you see the whole point is affection changes nature. It is this power of love actually which changes nature actually. And that is a way to tame the mind actually. So the point is this, that when one develops affection for somebody, he tolerates, isn't it? Like people have some dog, they keep a dog, It's a bad example. But the point is that people keep a dog, dogs are not clean fellows, they pass stool also and urine also and everything also, is it not? And they don't understand what is toilet and washroom, and all that. So now this And when they eat, they will not eat in a very clean way with fork and spoons and all that. Dog is a dog. So the whole point is that now because one has one has a pet and a dog and is seeing some innocence coming out of this fellow, like that, that way, so this fellow has a tail and it wags a tail and all that, sometimes. And so because one is seeing some aspects of, because one gets in touch with that spirit soul basically, and the consciousness manifesting, the spirit soul manifesting in the body, therefore actually one develops some sort of affinity, and because he develops some sort of affinity, he is able to tolerate. Similarly, mothers, when the child litters around here and there, like that. In general, they would not allow anyone to tamper with their internal house settings and so on and so forth. But this child is messing up and she tolerates to a great extent. Why? Because her own child. Somebody else really fears reaction is it not? So the same thing actually, affection, similarly, just like sometimes what happens is that a naughty child or some disobedient children, like that, they may do, so they may steal away some money from the father's locker or something like that, and spend it for their, some gratification, like that, and the father mother may come to know, like that. So they will beat the child, they will, be, chastise the child, give warning and things like that. But they will not put him to police. Some outside person he does that. Take some money, they will put him to police, is it not? So you see the change of behavior is because of affection actually. Naturally a person may not tolerate infringement on his own personal settings. But then because of affection, the person is able to change. Like his mind may still dictate. His mind may still dictate. What is this nonsense going on? But then he tones him down. No. My own person. Let me talk. He said, let me be peaceful. So you will see, this is the point actually. It's not that the mind doesn't speak. The mind will speak. The mind's nature is to speak. But a person tones it down. Understanding? This is affection. This is affection. So therefore, the point which always comes is that how to tackle the mind. The mind is tackled in this way. When we develop affection for the Lord, then one will not hear so many of the dictates and pushings and pullings. The mind is again like that. So it is this affection. Consideration comes from affection actually. And when the affection speaks, a person is able to go beyond the mind actually. Because the mind will always drag a person towards entanglement. So now, as a devotee, as a sadhaka, we don't have to develop love and affection for anybody and everybody separately. It is not that for each Vaishnava we have to separately develop affection. For each living entity we have to separately develop affection. If we develop genuine affection for the Lord, we will develop affection for every other living entity also. For devotees as well. That's how the whole process works. And the point is that affection develops by following. By following. So when we follow, we develop affection. This is the only way to quieten the mind actually, otherwise the mental pushings and pullings will go on dragging us into more and more deeper and deeper entangled pools actually. So what to do when the mind dictates? So when the mind is presenting his the mind is presenting his dialogue, so one should enter into a discussion. So mind is playing his tape, and what we have to do is that we have to play the Lord's tape. That means in the mind dictates, we have to, so we have to speak what is the verse the Lord is telling to answer that dictate. Is it not? And the mind is telling that no, I am not feeling enthusiastic because it is too hot, it is too cold, I am too tired, how can I do bhakti? Or I am too energetic, how can I do bhakti? Like that. So the mind may dictate actually. So in that case one has to so the mind will play his tape. We have to play our tape. So what is the tape? The Lord is saying Matra Sparsha Rupante. Agama, Apaino, Anitya, Tam Satiksha Sapai. And the mind is telling no, lust, like that. And we have to say, no, Agama, Paino, Nitya. Let me just bear it for the time being. It is going to go down. Everything is like that. Sometimes we feel irritation towards some devotee. Agamo, Paino, Anitya. That irritation will not remain. So one may feel, what is this? Yeah. So you wait for some time, like that. So you wait for some time. Then you will see that fierce spike will go down actually. That spike is not always there, is it not? Sometimes, so that's the point actually. The spike will go down. We'll see that devotee, doing some or the other, sincere Krishna conscious activity. Then it goes, this is on a nice devotee, almost nice. Little bit nice. Okay, you can tolerate it, not like that. That is why it is very nice. That that is why it is very nice to cook nicely for other devotees, Because suppose the devotee has become angry with us, like that. We never know, like that. Then our cooking turn comes, we cook nicely, sir, like that. And the devotee is eating, relishing, and saying, who is cooked? That fellow. Nice one. Nice one. See, it turns down. See, it turns down. Is it not? Like that. It's a service actually, that way. Because the whole point is that it doesn't remain. So we have to play our tape actually. That's why it is said following actually. Just like a microprocessor to work, a microprocessor requires certain set of instructions. Whatever standards you call it as, whether it is whether it is assembly standards or it is the standard nowadays the standard followed is the standards of MIPS standardization of the commands. What all commands are there, things like that. So whatever it is, the point is it needs an instruction set. Which is defined not by any Tom, Dick, Harry. It is defined by experts and then And that is how things can work best, the algorithms can fit best, the coding and the circuitry fits best, like that. And that's how it is developed, is it? The features of hardware and the algorithms of parallel processing and so many things are included in it, and then they give the instruction set. Now, in that case, the potentiality of the microprocessor systems, the hardware, the loopings, the FETs and everything, it follows in a very nice way. Or the efficiency, the best performance takes place actually. So, in a similar way, the mind cannot function without an instruction set. We need to understand this. Mind cannot function without an instruction set. Mind needs an instruction set for it to work. But the mind will play a ghastly tape. And at that time, one has to play a tape from his instruction set. Like that. The mind will say so many things. The mind will say so many things, is it not? So we have to play our tape, is it not? We have to play the tape from our instruction set.
Devotee is asking, to develop affection for Lord, should we not first develop it for devotees?
It goes hand in hand. Otherwise it becomes material, sentimental attachment. See, it's not easy to develop affection for devotees as well. Because any devotee, the moment you go close, you can see limitations, you can see fallacies. The moment you go close, then your expectation set will increase, like that. And the devotee may not be able to reciprocate back to your expectation set. See, it's easy to say, okay, this devotee brought me to Krishna consciousness, he gave me Bhagavad Gita. See, giving Bhagavad Gita is fine. But you go to that devotee and tell him, Prabhu, give me 4 times prasad, and give me clothing, I'm staying with you only. You may face a tough time doing that, is it not? Right? So, one level, somebody going for follow-up, once in a week, and we are grateful for that. That is fine. But then, if we ask him, okay, you give 2 hours every day, so it becomes difficult, is it not? Right? So the whole point is like this, that then, like say for example, hearing tape of spiritual master is fine, but then you seek for personal association of spiritual master, okay, once in a month I'll write mail to Maharaj and this Maharaj should reply. That's not. So the moment is that, see, the whole point is that, it is not that any expectation is coming out of us. Then that expectation is a proper expectation. So on what basis we dictate to the mind, this is not a proper expectation. Like that. That basis has to be strong. Otherwise we may have expectations and, okay, the president should give me time, he should give me such a service which is not given to anybody, and every time one seeks, the centeredness, that I should be given a centeredness, and I should be given, personal centeredness, like that. But how is it possible that anybody, and one seeks many times acknowledgement, acknowledgement, centeredness, like that. So how is it possible? Is it possible? So the moment we do any good activity, we want the whole acharyas and the present acharyas and the GBC and TPVP and all that, everybody to acknowledge, को कैसे पता लगेगा क्या चल रहा है ना, is it not? Right? So this is the point that these expectations also, they grow like a germ. They keep growing, like that. Like a germ, they keep growing, that way. And in this way, one has a very strong set of, so now the point is that, if we reflect back and see, is it not? You see, somebody came and met with us, once in a week, 10 minutes, and we were grateful for it, like that. But now over the years, we see how expectation sets increase, is it not? So now the whole point is this, that then this grows out of control actually, and we are not exercising any control over the mind, that way. Then, even developing affection for devotees becomes difficult, is it not? Like that. And affection is not socialization. That has to be kept in mind actually. It is not that affection means that, okay, three of us will sit together and we'll look at that of the whole world, and we'll discuss what is happening in the whole ISKCON world, iska kya hua, uska kya hua, Like, that's not affection. That is what we are doing, sense gratification, and two more people agree to do with us. And everyone is doing this exclusive sense gratification, just that three people are together, That's not association. Is it not? That's not affinity actually. Affinity is in terms of serving. The Vaishnava genuinely helping him to serve Krishna. He has a service to Krishna, he has his offering to Krishna, and we are helping to make his offering to Krishna. So it's a deep aspect actually. Therefore, actually, on its own, otherwise it's just like, man, woman, they get infatuated, like that, and they're feeling, okay, we'll have a very nice life when we marry, like that. And there is all affection, and everybody is thinking, and the man is thinking that for your sake I will pluck the, what is that, flowers from the sky, stars from the sky. Yeah? Yeah. And then after marriage, woman says, okay, don't pluck stars from the sky, get some under the sets of studies, and get some, a 4-story bungalow. It is easier than plucking the stars, like that. And the person says, "Arey, keep quiet. What is this? Is it not?" And then they were feeling so much affinity for each other. But then when they come little close to each other, and then the big, enormous expectation sets, this and that, and then they start fighting like cats and dogs. Is it not? Why? It's very difficult to love any living entity.
It is said that in neophyte stage, to love directly Krishna is very difficult. But when
Following.
Huh?
The definition of love is following. Like that. So according to the level of a person, the definition is given actually. The definition of love is following actually. So that means the instruction of the Shastras we take very seriously. That way.
This verse is telling affinity and tame the mind. But in this verse, Prabhupada is telling that
Following.
if you control the mind, then you will develop love for Krishna.
So how does the mind get controlled? We need an instruction set. We need an instruction set. And from where we get the instruction set? From a person with whom we have affinity. Like that. That is the point. So yes, this is the point that when the mind proposes See, the whole point in relationships is that everything goes hand in hand. We see the sacrifice of devotees towards us. That helps us to develop affinity for the Lord, like that. Like that. Now, when we develop affinity for the Lord, then we tame down our own expectations also. Like that. That's it. Because say for example somebody is sacrificing for us, do we expect somebody to sacrifice for us lifelong? Like that. It's not, It is not, So, like, suppose say for example, some devotee when he does his cooking slot, he cooks very nicely for other Vaishnavas. Like that. So maybe when our birthday came, he cooked for us some special item and gave us, like that. But if you develop expectations every day he should cook for me, that becomes too much, is it not? So you see, expectations have to be tamed also, like that. The relationship is not just dependent on one side actually, it is dependent on us also. Our expectations also have to be tamed. So now on what basis we will tame our expectations and tolerate? Like that. Is it that? Sometimes some devotees, they become very happy when they are given attention and all that. But they become very morose and very angry, when they see that some other person is also getting attention. So you see expectations, how they become and how they grow actually. These mentalities have to be tamed down. Like that. So yes, we focus on sacrifices which devotees have done for us. That helps us in developing faith in the Lord. Then slowly we see the hand of the Lord also in helping us, like that. And in that holistic sense actually, one adopts. So what is to be done? Okay, devotee sacrifice, what should I do? Follow the scriptures. That is what you have to do. Like that. Okay, the Lord is always with me and the Lord is always helping me and saving me in dangerous circumstances or bleak circumstances and all that. What should I do? Follow the instructions given in the Shastras. Like that. So the dictates, that is the point. Follow the dictates. So that means the mind will shoot its own dictates and it has its own dictates set like that. And there we should not add in that dictate into our catalog, like that. We should just add the Shastric instructions and speak to the mind. No, I will not do this. Like that. It is likely one may feel angry on a devotee, What is this? Kya samajhte hain aap, Simply living in comfort zone, One may feel angry on a devotee. So at that time one has to, play the tape. So what is the Lord saying about anger, like that. क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् बुद्धिनाशं प्रणश्यति क्रोधात् प्रणश्यति you play your tape क्रोधात् प्रणश्यति no, I don't have to do that. These are anyways after all devotees in the Lord, is it not? The mind will dictate. It's not that the mind will not dictate, the mind will do his job. So now when we do not follow an instruction set, then the mind goes beyond any control action. That's the problem. And we become entangled by succumbing to wrong moves, like that. Anything goes here and there. It is so easy to comment, किसने किया है, कौन है, like that. But when we do and somebody speaks like that, how it shoots, is it not? So we have to play an instruction that I cannot behave like this, I cannot behave like a Raja Dhiraj, Maharaja, like that. Let me control, tame down. So we tame down and tone down when we actually play the proper instruction sets. Any tape we play for long, it will come into action. That is the point. Because the mind is like this. The mind is not catching us by the neck and not dragging us. The mind is playing the tape and proposing to us. You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. So you also play the tape. No, I will not do this, I will not do this, I will not do this, I will not do this. Like that. And after some time, agama apaino anitya. The mind's spike goes down. When the mind spike goes down, you are saved from succumbing to another. This is how it works actually. Is it not? This is how it works. So that's why Prabhupada is saying the mind must admit some superior dictation and follow it. So we should willingly accept that dictation. And in that case, the mind is automatically controlled. Like, so, this is the point that, and therefore Prabhupada makes the point that a person who is in Krishna consciousness, he has automatically achieved this position, because Krishna consciousness means we are conscious of presence. Presence means following instructions. So everything is an instruction set, like that. So that now we say spiritual master. Spiritual master connection means what? Instruction set, nothing else. And they are not instructions of, So in that way, there are instructions of the parampara, not just that person, that tattva, So the instructions. And you say Prabhupada, we're following Prabhupada. What does that mean? Instructions. Like that. And from that instruction set, we should give answer to the mind's demands. And you keep playing your tape, the mind tones down after some time. And then, Jnana Vijnana Triptatma
Jnana Vijnana Triptatma
Utasto Vijitendriya
Utasto Vijitendriya
Yukta iti uchyate yogi
Yuchyate yogi
Samaloshtrama kanchanaha.
Samaloshtrama.
A person is said to be established in self-realization and is called a yogi or mystic when he is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and a realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it be pebbles, stones or gold, to be the same. Book knowledge without realization of the supreme truth is useless. That is stated in the following verse. Ataha Shri Krishna Namadi
Ataha Shri Krishna Namadi
Namaved Grahiyam Indriye
Namaved Grahiyam Indriye
Sevon Mukhe Jivado
Sevan Mukhe Jivado
Swayameva Surati Adaha.
Swayameva Surati Adaha.
No one can understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, qualities and pastimes of Shri Krishna through his materially contaminated senses. Only when one becomes spiritually saturated by transcendental service to the Lord are the transcendental name, form, quality and pastimes of the Lord revealed to him. This is Bhakti Samasa. This Bhagavad Gita is the science of Krishna consciousness. No one can become Krishna conscious simply by mundane scholarship. One must be fortunate enough to associate with a person who is in pure consciousness. A Krishna conscious person has realized knowledge by the gaze of Krishna because he is satisfied with pure devotional service. By realized knowledge one becomes perfect. By transcendental knowledge one can remain steady in his convictions. But by mere academic knowledge one can be easily deluded and confused by apparent contradictions. It is a realized soul who is actually self-controlled because he is surrendered to Krishna. He is transcendental because he has nothing to do with mundane scholarship. For him, mundane scholarship is mental speculation, which may be as good as gold to others, are of no greater value than pebbles or stones. Moderation actually is the way the mind is controlled actually. That which is too attractive, we should understand it's problematic. That which is too repulsive, we should understand it's problematic. Tone down. Is it good? Sometimes people want to chill out. Chill out, it's an extreme degree. It's dangerous. Sometimes people want to break apart. Again dangerous. Like that. So anything which goes into an intense side is risky for us very many. That's how that happens. That's why he's been saying gold, very attractive. Fine. Stone pebble, what is it? Fine. No repulsion, no attraction. So we tone down both of them, like that. So that is the position actually of the stability. Right? One is not repulsed immediately, one is not provoked immediately. So this kind of position has to be developed by practice actually. It is explained that actually the Lord is giving a very wonderful actually instruction to us actually. Because we see that who can be, so how can one go on in life? The Lord is explaining that one can go on in life simply by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. So when we live in the knowledge which we are getting, and if we live in the realization of that knowledge, that means experiencing that hand of Krishna directing our lives, that is the realization of the knowledge. Experiencing the auspicious nature of Shastric instructions, that's realization. We know it is, but we have gone through how it works, realization, like that. So when we follow, we will see the realization, that how it improves the setting, how it changes. Like it being said, okay, one should be enthusiastic during festivals. You be enthusiastic and you will see that impression is a powerful one. It goes on for long. So that is realization. You have gone through, you have seen through it. This principle has to be, many times you see our whole framework of stability or satisfaction lies in terms of results or lies in terms of expectations. So when one is expecting, when one is in the framework of expectation of results or expectation from others, then actually in that state one cannot be stable. In that state the senses will not be controlled. But when one sees the reciprocation of the Lord, then that state one can be stable. That's all. Satisfaction by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. This is important. So therefore, when knowledge converts into vision or realization, it needs to be preserved very strongly. And the more we preserve, it's not that it doesn't happen to all of us, it happens to every one of us, because Krishna is reciprocating with every one of us. But the problem is that if we do not preserve it and store it, it will not remain for long, it will subside very soon. And then we have nothing, you know. But if you record it, then you can play it anytime and then go ahead. That's the point. Therefore, the point is that Prabhupada is making the point in the very beginning. Book knowledge without realization of the Supreme Truth is useless. So apply the instructions said, the follow, and then we see the book knowledge translates, manifests. And that gives us that impression of the realization. And this storehouse of realizations actually is what will create a buffer between us and the demands of the mind. And in this way, we can control the mind or drive the mind actually. Rather than getting swayed off by that. So we'll stop here. Prabhupada ki jai. International Prabhupada Gita ki jai. So we'll continue next week. We'll have Mangalarti after 15 minutes.